What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Ronnie here from Speedlab. I've been MIA, I'm sorry. It's all Lex's fault. I'm just joking. I've just been lazy. I wanted to just kind of take the time in this video and just give you guys a update of basically all the cars that are here and what's going on in the shop. And I feel like that would be pretty cool for you guys to see. We do a bunch of cool stuff. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first things first, well, actually the last thing, because I haven't been working on this thing. This is my personal GTR. If you guys didn't know about this car, this is what we call an SPL 2000 as far as the engine package goes. This car actually made 1560 on our mainline hub dyno at 45 pounds. And it's at like 50 something pounds on the street. Fuel pump died on this thing, and I overnighted a fuel pump from T1, shout out Tony Pelo. And that was about a month and a half ago. So I overnighted it, and I haven't had time because we have customers, and customers are a priority. So once we swap that fuel pump in, we're hoping to make more content with this car. There's an event in October, so maybe me and Lex can take the Evo and the GTR out and have some fun with it. So we'll do a full build breakdown on this separately. Inside the shop, we have a lot going on. We're gonna kind of give you guys a breakdown of each individual car. We've been averaging about 4 to 6 builds, that's engine builds and FBO builds a month, so it keeps us fairly busy. This right here is actually one that we're gonna have posted up for sale pretty soon. Lex is actually gonna detail this car today, and that's gonna be on her channel. This is just a stock motor, Evo 9, it's a 2006 MR, 75,000 miles, 2-owner car, no accidents, S2s. It has a stock turbo, upgraded wastegate, battery relocation kit. Let's take a look at the engine bay. Everything looks pretty pristine on this thing. We did the DI fab catch can. We have to plug that last one. But this also, obviously, as most of you guys know, relocates the battery to the trunk so you can have a full battery and still use a short route intercooler piping without having to run a bike battery like the PC 680 that most people run. Once this thing gets detailed, we're actually going to tune it, so that might be a separate video. Super excited to get this thing together and see who the lucky owner is going to be. I would keep it, but we have too many cars and Lex is saying I shouldn't keep it. So the second car I wanted to talk about is Stevens GRC. This is a fully built GRC, so it has what we call an SPL 800 engine package. Consists of Nitto performance pistons and rods. They're I-beam rods, super strong rods. Stock crankshaft, Kelford 267A camshafts. Also has an R-Tech turbocharger with an R-Tech manifold, which is actually a Garrett G25 550, essentially housed in a GR Corolla turbocharger. A couple other things to note here with this car that's pretty unique. Obviously this car is on a Cybex and not the stock ECU anymore, so we're not using Ecutech to tune this anymore. Actually, all the GRCs we have here, we have 3 of them, they're all on Cybex. I refuse to tune them unless they are on Cybex. As far as the injectors go in the fuel system, we just have DW 1100cc ports. The GRC has both port and direct injection, so helps the 1.6 liter with the tiny fuel system it has. It actually gives it quite a bit of overhead. So this setup is good for like 400-ish horsepower, which we're gonna be on pump gas, so we're not gonna surpass that anyway. So up next, we have Sam's Evo 10 over here. This is one of our SPL 1000 engines. This is still a steel rod motor consisting of Corolla Pro H-beam connecting rods with car bolts. We've pushed these particular rods past 1,000 horsepower on the 4B11 applications with no issues. Anything past that, obviously, we move to an aluminum rod. Magnus cam gear deletes on both sides. We just wanted to be safe on this particular build. Obviously, all brand new timing components, our custom spec anodized Y-screw pistons. ID 1700s, this car is going to be on a radium double pumper, and it's going to be on a Haltech, so the Haltech's going to be controlling the secondary pump. Obviously, once this thing goes in, we're going to be starting it up and doing the break-in on the dyno and tuning it in-house like we do with every single car. And this is kind of our procedure, guys, so the car doesn't just sit here for a month and a half, 2 months until we get the engine back from the machine shop and assemble it. So the car is either outside, covered up, or it goes back with the client, or it's in our storage area. So if the engine's here and the car is here, it means this is gonna go in, and by the end of the week, this thing's gonna be on the dyno. So this one, I have Danny working on. This came in for, bolt-ons, as they all do, and ended up scope creeping quite a bit. So this actually was supposed to just be like a stock turbo deal and upgraded motor mounts and some miscellaneous stuff and tune. And it ended up actually having really bad leak down on number 4 exhaust valves, So he got an SPL stage 1 cylinder head, which obviously, as most of you guys that have worked with us know, he already got the O-rings. So every cylinder head that we do includes our stainless steel O-rings for high boost. We upgraded his fuel system as well because he kind of decided to go all out with this application. So we have a full radium double pumper that we use on every single build now. That's kind of all we use now exclusively. ID 1700 injectors. Again, as we always use, it's kind of like, you know, these recipes are like proven to work very well, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Turbocharger wise, he got a used FP Black. It's a HTZ, so it's not a MHI housing, it's an external wastegate. But these make a lot of power. Super excited to see what this one will put down, and we're also upgrading a bunch of other stuff. He's getting a CSF radiator, like I said, the motor mounts, a brand new timing components, all that good stuff. Super excited for this one too. This is gonna make, you know, low 600s on E. That's gonna be more than plenty for the client to enjoy it. Obviously, we're still gonna do some other maintenance items too. I always forget to mention that. Most of these cars that have over like 70, 80,000 miles, the rear diff bushings and mustache bar bushings are usually shot. This particular car has the same issue. He has about 105,000 miles on the clock, I think, and the rear mustache bar bushings are shot, so we're gonna go ahead and replace it. So when he gets the car back, this thing's gonna feel brand new and have a lot of power. This is actually another project car that's going to be for sale soon. This car has 74,000 miles. It's a 03 Evo 8. We put one of our 2.0s in it. It's a steel rod motor with a billet crank. This has a head games pocket ported cylinder head, S3 camshafts, a full race T3 manifold with a HPT 6466 0.63 tiny ass hot side. Obviously everything got coated so it looks nice and clean. This thing is gonna spool super quickly, but I'm anticipating it making high 700s, maybe 800. It's gonna be a nice power band. So super excited about that. Like I said, the engine's built, so it's gonna take everything we throw at it. It's one of our tried and true packages. As far as the fuel system goes, surprise, surprise, it's another radium fuel system. We got the rail, we got the regulator, we got the fuel pulse damper. That's what this is. With bigger injectors, it really helps with tuning, especially stock ECU tuning where there isn't a lot of compensation. It really helps with the bigger injectors, you know, kind of closing and, you know, causing oscillations in the rail. So this is also getting the radium fuel line kit, fuel filter, as all these cars do. Double pumper. This is going to be on a stock ECU, so the secondary pump is going to be activated via pressure switch, which works flawlessly. It's just not as, you know, advanced as having an ECU control a secondary pump and throw a check engine light and cut power if the second pump doesn't come on and things as such. Obviously we gave it some bling bling too. This is a STM 2.5 inch upper intercooler piping, gloss black. We have a tile Q with the 8 PSI spring in there because of the cams. Of course, DI Fab battery relocation kit and catch can. This car actually had a battery relocation kit, so you guys can see it's not the usual routing that we use. We're not going directly through the firewall. This one got cooling system upgrades too, CSF radiator as always. I like these stock ECU high horsepower cars. You know, they deliver. Up next, one of my favorite builds in the shop right now, Mike's Evo 10. This car has been with us for quite a long time, but that's because this project just kept like scope creeping, and this is an SPL 1100 is what we call it. It's essentially an SPL 1000 with solid beam aluminum rods. We have a full race turbo manifold with a HPT T4 7175 turbocharger with the biggest hot side they had at the time. I can't remember. This thing made 1,005 before we did the dry sump and before we swapped over to the Magnus intake manifold and all this stuff. We're anticipating this thing making like 1,050 kind of safely. There's a lot of custom fab work that's been done on this car. Shout out to our fabricator, Chris, CM Builds. There's a 5-inch front mount intercooler, custom upper and lower intercooler piping. The Magnus intake manifold is kind of what makes this thing pop. It's a sheet metal intake manifold with some billet pieces. Bosch 82 millimeter throttle body with their billet Vangean adapter. This whole piping is just Vangean, so, you know, under boost it does not, you know, pop off, and, you know, we don't have to deal with coupler issues. But with that being said, let's check out the dry sump and let's talk about the fuel system of the car. It's kind of went from a street car to not so street car after the dry sump. So we got a big 3-gallon Peterson sump here in the back. Obviously dry sump he's not gonna have any oil pressure issues. The oil is gonna stay nice and cool. There's not gonna be any frothing of the oil or anything like that. So overall, this thing's gonna be badass. The only thing he's gonna need after this is a sequential transmission, and he's gonna be hurting a lot of feelings. Another thing that's super, super unique and cool about this particular Evo 10 is we actually used the ID BCP 100, which is the same exact fuel pump controller that I have in my GTR, except we're controlling it with a Haltech. So I had to get creative with that, or I have to get creative with that with how I control this. And as you guys can see, we have a surge tank over here. So the way this fuel system works is we have a radium double pumper, essentially a radium hanger with one Walbro 450, just hardwired, which is feeding the surge tank over here. Now this surge tank is for a brushless fuel pump. So we're using the E5LM pump, which is the same exact pump that's in my GTR. As you guys know, with the proper pulse width modulation, the proper control, that single pump is good for about 2,000 horsepower on ethanol. That's one pump. And that's good because we don't have to have 3 pumps and stage them in and, have to worry about pumps basically failing. So we have one pump, and we have this awesome controller for it. So super excited about this. And obviously, you guys can see there's a huge line that goes to the front, and this is a -10 fuel feed. So we have a 10 feed and an 8 return. 99% of the cars don't need this. They just need an 8 feed and a 6 return, but this would be that 1% that actually needs all the fuel. So this is Sergio's electric blue Evo 9. This thing is beautiful. This car came in for an FBO package as well, and we found that it has a built motor. The client wanted us to make sure the motor's in good health, so we pulled the pan. It had a leak anyway, but we pulled the pan and we pulled 2 rod bearing caps. Before we even pulled the bearing caps, we saw metal shavings in the pan, so that was already a giveaway that something was wrong. Like the engine just wasn't pieced together properly, in my opinion. Since we do this day in and day out, we see a lot of improper combinations, and this was one of them. We did a SPL 2.0. This is a stock crank SPL 2.0. It's still a SPL 900. It's just not a billet crank deal. Still utilizes our pistons, the Cali's Ultra Enforcer I-beams with the 7/16 strong rod bolts. This actually has a head game / SPL pocket ported cylinder head and combustion chamber rework. So what we do is we send the cylinder heads to head games with whatever parts we want to use, which is always the GSC stuff. This particular build got S2 camshafts. Of course, it got O-ring, as all of our builds do. So the engine is capable of over 1,000 horsepower, but this actually has the stock Evo 9 turbo. I'm pretty sure he's going to get bored of this power pretty soon, and he's going to come back. The stock turbo is only, it's going to put some smiles on your face, but not for super long. This is my favorite part of the shop. So this is the engine room. It's kind of a mess right now. It gets messy until I'm ready to put an engine together, and then everything kind of gets cleaned up, and then the next day it's messy again. So that's kind of how it goes, how it's always been. But every time I'm assembling an engine, it's very clean in here. And it's climate controlled, so we keep it around 72 degrees, 72, 73 degrees, which is nice for me. And it's nice because I can make sure the clearances are where they need to be, room temp. We have a bunch of cylinder heads here. These are not assigned to anybody, so these are just extra cylinder heads that we either get from Arlington Machine or Head Games. Like I said, whenever we get the cylinder heads back, we O-ring them in-house. Most of these are CNC ported. Some of them are pocket ported. All of them get the combustion chamber rework, which is CNC'd and kind of like reduces hot spots and makes it so that the car can take a couple degrees more timing. And obviously the CNC ported cylinder heads, they really shine with higher boost applications, and when you're really trying to push the envelope. I'm just going to show you guys another engine that we have over here. This is another SPL 2.2. This is for our client Jose. He just wanted us to kind of go over things and put it together, build an SPL spec power plant for him per se. We did a 2.2. Everything's essentially a vetted package over here. So we got the anodized pistons, we got the Corolla Pro H-beams. This has a manly billet crankshaft, 94mm stroke, obviously. It's a 2.2. And this is also going to be paired up with a head game cylinder head. The cylinder head's going to be a CNC ported cylinder head, getting ARP 625s for head studs. Again, like all of these builds do. We don't like to go to the cheap stuff. We just go to the top of the shelf and grab the best if we're doing off the shelf, and if we're doing custom, best believe it's going to be much better than whatever's the best on the shelf. Another thing that you guys may or may not have noticed also from my Instagram post, I love using OEM parts and I love hoarding OEM bolts. I mean, literally every week the Mitsubishi parts guy Comes with like 2 bags like Santa Claus of just like OEM bolts. This is this week's delivery. Clients paying really good money. They want the best of the best. They're gonna get brand new OEM bolts. So I don't know, that's just how my brain works. That's how I've always ran my business. I want my guys to get the best of the best. There's so much more that we can show you guys, but we don't want this thing to be like an hour and a half long, you know, movie. Thank you guys for all the support. We couldn't have been where we are without your support. We couldn't have, as a team, done this without you guys. We're one of the fastest growing performance shops in California, which is very hard to do in California specifically. Give us a thumbs up, hit that bell notification, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.